So first of all, I guess from your perspective, what made this a good next step for you in your career?
It was a combination of some things. You know, being able to come back to the state of Montana, having been at Montana Tech for 5 years, we loved living in the state, and step up level-wise, come to the FCS level. I think a place like Montana State's like a dream job. I love calling plays, you know, and obviously I was a coordinator for a long time and was the head coach the last 2 years at Mines in Golden, and kind of just wanted to get back to just doing that part of it, being up in the box calling plays. You know, I think maybe someday be a head coach again, you know, I don't know, but just kind of the desire just to be a coordinator and just to have that be, you know, what I'm really in charge of. And then a chance to work for someone like Coach Fegan. I mean, I heard great things about him, and you know, the first time we talked, I could tell he's the type of guy that, you know, that I want to work for and work with, and so really a combination of a bunch of things there.
I know there will be some roster changes from last year, but this
Yeah.
has been a very dynamic offense under Coach Vegan. I guess how exciting is that to you to kind of add your piece to it?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, there's all sorts of different scenarios you get in as a play caller. Where some places where you got to fix things, and but that's not what I've walked into. You know, I'm trying to get right in stride with it and identify what aspects are back that we can still run, and then some things that maybe we need to tweak and change. And it's just been here a week, so it's just it's going to be an ongoing process. But obviously, there's great things in place. There's a lot of really good, exciting players back, and so it's definitely exciting to become a part of something like that.
This program has a really dominant run game, especially in the past few years. Just what stands out most to you about that culture and this offensive line and the culture in that room as well?
Yeah, it definitely starts with the offensive line. I mean, that's a big physical group up front. I think there's good experience back. I know there's some great guys that have left, but yeah, I mean, when you have guys with size, with length, and can move the guys in front of them, and you got a chance. And the running backs run real hard. I mean, they're downhill all the time. There's hardly any lost yardage plays, at least, you know, with what I've watched. I mean, having Julius and Adam back, I think is really exciting. And there's some other guys I know that'll be hungry to get carries. Yeah, it's hard to not really dive into that aspect. And I think it was 294 yards a game rushing, and that's definitely what we're going to breed things out of and see what else we can do. But yeah, it definitely starts with the run. I think that just opens up everything else that you want to do. And there's a great group of guys back that were a big part of the reason they ran the ball so well.
You've been very successful obviously as an offense coordinator and head coach at the D2 level. What kind of makes you confidence-wise know that you'll be successful at this level?
Well, football's football. I mean, the rules are the same, you know, and going D2 to FCS is definitely a step up, and it's a challenge. I mean, that's part of why I wanted to do this. But there's things I think that are very applicable. I mean, coming in and, you know, I'm going to learn the system here. I'm not just making all these players learn the system I've been running, but being able to blend some things, bring some different ideas in with a system that's already in place that I know is successful is exciting. And there's things that are definitely a challenge within that. And I've called plays for a long time, and I've called some of the things that I've called the same since 2008 when I first started doing it. But that's honestly part of the fun, is now I get to do something new. But football's football. It just boils down to a lot of the same rules and the spaces on the field, and, you know, the length and width are all the same, and guys want to win, and it's awesome to try to do that at a higher level.
How would you describe the offense you ran at Mines and at Montana Tech?
Yeah, you know, when I went from Tech to Mines, I kind of did similar to what I'm doing here as far as coming in and learning a system. You know, so I had what I had been running at Tech, and I needed to learn Mines' system and see what I could blend. So some of the same aspects as far as that goes, and we were a lot of different things at Tech, because we got in certain situations, but, you know, a lot of RPO, multiple inside zone, outside zone, gap schemes, trying to pair it with quick game RPO, but then dialing up shots and being real balanced in the pass game. So at Mines, I probably got a little bit more into the true RPO slant world and a lot of the different aspects that they had been running, and just kind of melted that thing together. And here, obviously, there's been more of a run game emphasis, and so I just got to pick my spots on what I want to bring in certain ways. But, you know, probably a little bit more pass game versus the run game, and we were always around 300 yards a game passing. at Mines, and that wasn't even what they had been doing before that. They had even bigger numbers. So, but, my first year there, I think we ran for 252. So you really just got to tilt it toward what you have and what your best assets are on your team, and so that's what we're going to continue to do, and try to just do what our kids do best and see where that goes. And whoever's a quarterback, obviously that's the big player on the offense as far as what you're going to lean into the most and what that kid's capable of. But we want to do a lot. I think the more that you do well, the harder you are to prepare for. But there's a lot of really good things in place that Tyler and Taylor had been doing, before I got here. A lot of formational things that are very similar, and so I think a lot of things look the same, but I think there'll be some different flavor that I just don't know what that is yet. We got to get the spring ball and start to find out.
Yeah, I read that the spread and power rushing attack were kind of the key tenets of Mines. Is that fair?
Yeah, there's all these cool little trendy things that guys like to label their offenses on. We just play ball. We try to be multiple and be hard to prepare for, and hopefully our kids have fun. When you get to the season week to week, and then you build it around the same things, but then you alter it as you go along and try to stack plays on plays and be progressive all the time. And but yeah, there's a lot of different aspects. Love the power running game. And that's not necessarily running the power scheme, but just being physical up front and trying to put fear in the defense and play the math game. If they're crowding the box, be able to throw the ball down the field and take space, manipulate it, create it with formations, and if they're spread out, pound the football, and just get people on their heels. That's what you want to do.
You mentioned the quarterback position for the first time in a few years at Montana State without a returning starter and Tommy Malott. So what do you see from that room and the opportunity and the guys in there and what they hope to prove going into next season?
Yeah, definitely got to meet those guys and talk to them. They're eager and excited, and it's a group that wants to learn, and they're in the film room, and I'm excited to keep finding out about them. It's just, you start this process when you get into a new job, and you want to find out what makes guys tick and where they're from and how they grew up and how you can help them. And a lot of that's not even dealing with the football part of things, but just developing a trust aspect that has to be there on both sides, letting them get to know me. And it's a great group though. You definitely can see the eagerness in their eyes, and they're excited for their opportunity because it's going to be a competitive spring, and I'm curious to see how far that gets if we come out of spring with somebody that's far ahead, or if it's still pretty tight, carried into the summer and into fall camp. But it's exciting, it's just a process going through the evaluation, and like I've said, you got to get to spring ball. You can sit there and go through as much film as you want and have all these ideas, but when it boils down to is those guys got to go prove it.
The play calling part of this, and it's the collaboration, blending things. How much is Vegan kind of letting you, take the reins and do with the offense, or how much are you and him and the other, new offense coaches especially kind of collaborating on or planning to collaborate?
Yeah, I think Coach Vegan will remain pretty lockstep with what we're doing. Obviously he had great success, and so that's another thing for me, being able to come into a place and learn from a guy like him that's been where he's been, and has done a great job. It's definitely not going to be a departure. I doubt we'll do anything that he's not aware of, but I also think he hired me for a reason. He knows I've got experience and the things that we've been able to do other places. But I love the O staff, the guys that, two other coaches are new, Matt Smith and Justin Mesa, and it's been real fun getting to know those guys and getting in the room and watching film together and just kind of seeing where it goes, but you, as a coordinator, you are the one calling the plays and kind of making the ultimate decisions in the room, but you got to take input from other people because everybody's in the room's got great experience, and that process has already started. It's been really fun so far, and we're still going to hang our hat on the things that have been done here, but it'll be fun to see where we really decide to take it with some of the areas that we're going to alter some things.
You know if you'll be in the booth or on the field?
I'll definitely be up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Just I don't know how many games out of all the games I've called, how many times I've been up, but most of them have been up, and there's a reason you film from up there, because you can see everything, and I like that aspect of it. And it was a good experience, going from being at Mines and being up in the box as a coordinator, and then getting the head coaching job, and only going to be in the box then, so calling plays from the sideline. That was good, but I would always think to myself, God, I miss being up in that box, and not just because it's warm in there on the cold days either, but it's just kind of nice to be away from everything and just kind of contained, and I like that aspect of it. That's where I probably felt at my best doing it.
When a program like this loses so many seniors, obviously there's a massive senior class with all the different rules and COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
How much motivation, if any, does it give you to kind of go out and show what you're capable of when they just lost so much?
Well, it's exciting. I mean, because you want to help prove for the guys that are coming back that they're here for a reason, that they're a part of that success, and then you also want to prove yourself as a coaching staff that and a program that you can keep pushing forward and stay the course on what the mission is, and because the ultimate goal hasn't been reached here, you know. And I've been in those situations. I've coached the national championship games and had to regroup and try to make another run, and you know, it's a challenge, but it's an exciting challenge. And I mean, you watch these guys work out, and they are hungry, and it's going to be fun to see them compete in the spring, and I can't wait to go to battle with them.
When you were at Tech, what did you think of Montana State under, I guess it was Ash and then Choate at the time?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome being able to go to camps during the summer and be around their staff and be in these, you know, the stadium, and it was always in the back of my mind, like, God, it'd be amazing to get to this type of level and coach. And you know, I came over and talked ball a handful of times with Tim Cramsey, especially when he was here, because we had gotten Quinn McQuarrie to transfer, and I wanted to pick his brain on what he'd do with Quinn. That was going into the 15 season. And then Brian Armstrong, Matt Miller, I'd come over and talk ball with those guys. So yeah, it was always fun to have that relationship and be able to come over here. And so it's a little bit surreal at times where, you know, I'm here and, you know, now I get to be the guy calling the plays here. But it was awesome. I loved my time at Tech. That's a great place too. And so to just, you know, be down the road in Bozeman I'm pretty grateful.
And I did kind of side note, but the East-West Triangle Bowl, I saw that there's a long snapper from Mines who was there, and obviously Montana State had Marcus Weir there too. What were your thoughts on that dynamic?
Yeah, Josh Wojciechowicz, yeah, he's a great long snapper. I think he went to a camp in Tennessee last summer, and just about every long snapper was there in the whole country, and he got ranked in the top 5 out of every level. So we knew he was going to have a pretty good chance to get in there. Yeah, it'd be nice to have Marcus Weir back. He was a good one, but it'd be fun to see what he does.